So what's the solution? Anybody can sit here and whine. But there is a solution to this. What's the basic problem with the government printing money? Well, I explained it to you before. You print a whole lot of money nobody worked for. There's no value behind it. It's printed, and it goes and chases the same amount of products. Medicine, school tuition, products and services, fans, Kenny Bells, whatever. And those products get more expensive because there's more bills chasing them. It's not complicated math, only for liberals. So the solution, if you're going to print money, which we've done, you can't unprint it. Sorry, folks. You can't unprint it. You can increase interest rates to dry some of it up. But one of the things we can do is focus on producing more stuff. So more stuff will eventually even out the more money, and we won't have dramatic inflation. I'm not suggesting that's the best idea. Printing money is still a horrible, awful, stupid idea. But now that it's been done, we've got to fix it. So we've got to produce more stuff, called in economics productivity. And Andy Kessler, who I love this guy's writing at the Wall Street Journal. It's really spectacular. I highly recommend it. Kessler. He writes, every other day, every third day column at the Wall Street Journal, and they are always must-reads. He had this piece up at the Wall Street Journal, which addresses this very same point, how productivity and producing more stuff, more output, with either less input or the same input, will help eventually stave off this inflationary scenario. Well, the article isn't specifically about inflation, but I'm telling you, we have to produce more stuff to basically chase all the money we're printing, or everything's going to get really expensive and you will be drowned out and nations have collapsed. The article is called Andy Kessler, How Tech Got Ready for 2020. And he brings up a couple interesting phenomena, how this awful year when it comes to coronavirus and just the election results, it's just been a bad year, folks. Not the worst year in human history. People tend to get a little dramatic. Ask the people who fought in the trenches of World War I if it was the worst year. This doesn't even come close. It was bad, really bad, but it wasn't anywhere close to that. Ask the men and women of Pearl Harbor if this was the worst year in human history. Not. Shockingly, the coronavirus is obviously a massive human tragedy, folks. But we have to be able to look at least through some kind of positive lens, or we'll all be depressed all the time. A lot of technology was forced upon us by this epic human disaster, and Kessler addresses it in a piece. And this leads into productivity, how we learned how to produce more services really fast because we had to. He brings up a couple things. How our technology in the United States is still better than anywhere else. He says streaming via Netflix and a dozen other services was ready, and then some. People sat home. These home entertainment systems were ready for it. He says next year, major studio films will appear simultaneously in theaters and on streaming services, previously unthinkable. You say, all right, well, that's entertainment stuff. That's not that important, Dan. What else are we producing? He says, well, the ready list, stuff of, that was ready with the pandemic, was amazing. Contactless payments through Apple Pay. He says, though Apple Pay didn't work well with masks. Meal delivery, grocery delivery, retail logistics, e-billing, ticketless travel, airport security line cutting retinal scans, motion sensing Purell dispensers. Amazon was ready with essentials. But 6 weeks to deliver a book? He goes, yes, I've heard of Kindle. And weirdly, ballpark crowd noise sold to video game companies was sold back to teams, all accidentally ready. The point Kessler's making is that we are still the United States. And despite the mass of stupid people that have all aggregated on Capitol Hill, amazingly, the dumbest among us all happened to be in Capitol Hill at one time. The United States is full of entrepreneurs and hardworking patriots who have still figured out ways, even in a pandemic, to produce stuff people value. Everything from entertainment to Major League Baseball teams valuing crowd noise to make the experience seem genuine. Contactless payments. People have figured it out. You don't have to touch stuff where the viral transmission could touch your hand. People can just wave their phones. Retinal scans at airports. I have that. Paula, what's it called? The thing we do at the airport with the retinal scan? What's that thing called? Do you remember? The line. Gosh, I can't think of it. What? I have it. I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. You go up to the TSA line. They have a special line. You put your eyeballs or your fingerprints down. Boom, right there. You don't even have to show your driver's license. All this stuff was ready. So the bad news, all the stupid people have decided to vote on a bill where we're going to print money we don't have that are going to chase products. The semi-good news, clear. Yes, clear. I love clear. I love that. It's the greatest thing ever. The good news, even though these idiots are printing money we don't have, we can still minimize the consequences. There will be consequences. The Daniel Day-Lewis, there will be blood. Make no mistake. Remember that movie? That was a great movie. But we can minimize the blood loss by producing services and products in enough quantities in this entrepreneurial great society that we at least minimize the effects.
You just heard Dan Bongino.